I'll go back here.
When can we expect these at dealerships?
When can we expect them at dealerships? So as I mentioned, we're going to keep building the current car for a couple more months. Then we have a dark period in Bowling Green. We do our last. Attributes of the Corvette into this architecture and make it all work together. So that's just a few of the highlights. I mean, you can see some of the design features here with the functional vents that are integrated into the hatch. There's a mail slot back here. We actually cantilever the rear glass. All of that is to let, when you're in city traffic moving slowly and you don't have a bunch of ram air coming in the side, you have to have a place for that to escape. Warm air rises, and so you really want to get as much air out of here as possible so it doesn't go back and heat up the trunk. So that's why we have these very large design iterations, these very large vents in here. Another cool feature is many cars now have camera rear view mirror. We do too. Most everybody else puts the camera on the back end of the car. We actually put ours on the roof, right up here. And so you have a high definition camera, 60 frames a second, so very fast frame rate, so moving things stay nice and smooth. And the thing that's really cool about this is it stays really clean. It might look like we just designed a little fun looking fin that leads into it. That's actually to route dirt and air and water away from the camera lens. Yesterday we drove from Michigan, went through a hell of a rainstorm. All the water went around and that vision stayed perfectly clear. So it's amazing to see that at times when your eyes actually aren't good enough to see out the back, the camera can actually see in lighting conditions and weather conditions where you wouldn't be able to see in a conventional car. This car, you can actually see it through the mirror. So lots of really fun, cool features like that. One of the most popular ones is a front lift feature. So sports cars are naturally low to the ground. Corvettes historically, because of the underbody aerodynamics, you could scrape the air dams. This car starts better, but when you get the front lift, it's really good. It's just a button that you push right on the center console. There's 3 buttons there, traction control off. Front camera, if you want the front cameras, or the front lift system. You hit that button as you approach an obstacle or a ramp or something. The front lifts up almost 2 inches and goes down automatically after you get over the bump. And it reminds you, it asks you every time you hit it in a new unique location. It says, do you want to remember this? And all you have to do is a left click on the steering wheel and it will remember that location forever. So every time you approach that obstacle, it'll go up automatically. It's smart enough that you're coming fast, it starts lifting early. So if you're coming in faster than usual, you'll see the message come on and it'll know it needs to get that nose up before you reach that obstacle. So really cool system. You know, we are here at Carlisle because we like talking to customers. We get about 50,000 of them here over the weekend to talk about how they use their cars. That's an example of something that customers would really appreciate, and so we integrated into this car. So I could talk forever about this. I'm just sort of wandering aimlessly, but I'd be curious, since you guys have seen a lot of the reveal information, is there something else we can answer for you? So any questions? Yes. So the question is, when are we going to get it in Europe? We have not announced a European introduction date. We did announce at the reveal that we're intending to sell this globally, including right-hand drive. So Japan, UK, Australia, now we'll have a right-hand drive version. So traditionally we roll out export vehicles later, and I guess stay tuned, but it won't be too terribly long. More questions? Yes. So the question is, what kind of production numbers? We never forecast production. We're going to try to build as
Yeah,
many
'cause
as we
it
can
can't-
to meet
it
customer
can't go
demand.
around.
Initial indications is demand is going to be high.
So
We
I
predicted
would say
that,
it's
and
not.
so we're adding a second shift at Bowling Green. We're in the process of getting those employees hired and trained right now. So I can't predict. We never know. And usually, the honest truth is, we're usually capacity constrained at the beginning because more people want cars than we can produce. But we're adding a second shift, so we're going to try to meet demand as best we can. Yes, down here. So the question is, will there be a convertible? I always say they're all convertibles. And take the roof out. I was just talking about that. But a regular conventional convertible, full convertible, we actually teased that at the reveal. If you watched the last video, we actually showed a couple, if you freeze framed it, there was a couple of shots of a convertible top down. So yes, there will be one, and no, you won't have to wait too long for that one either. Is he allowed to ask a question? It's a good question though. So one of our options, one that we're really proud of, if you walk around this fairgrounds, you'll notice a lot of people like to modify their cars. One of the things they like to do is decorate the engine compartment. You'll see a lot of the cars with the hood open. They want to show off their engine. They also want to decorate it as much as possible, enhance it, the appearance as much as possible. So we thought we'd offer a factory option. So what's the cost, Harlan? $995? It's a bargain. It's too cheap. Anyway, for $1,000 you get carbon fiber surrounds. So on either side of the engine, we close out with some thin carbon fiber panels, and then we add lights to the engine compartments. Whenever you open the hatch, the light will come on. So anytime as you approach the car and you hit the button or you engage the handle and you turn the lights on, you'll see that. Anytime you open the hatch, you'll see those lights on. It gives the whole engine a really nicely lit appearance. Those are two lights. They're actually under the hatch, so they open with the hatch. So the trunk is lit separately, and then the engine compartment is lit separately. But no, there's not a separate switch. It just comes on when the other lights come on. Yes, right here.
With the original car design, there's a lot of concern that maintenance costs will skyrocket because of the new design. Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yes. The question was, are we going to have much higher maintenance costs with this car? Because historically, if you look at people who've done mid-engine cars, the maintenance cost is higher. We were very conscious of that going through the development. Wanted to make sure that normal maintenance was done as easily on this car as our front-engine car. There's some operations that are probably a little bit more difficult, but the things that you think about, the questions I always get, how about the accessory drive belt? You can do that without dropping the engine. Changing plugs, you can do that without dropping the engine. So we spent a lot of time working with the service community to make sure those operations were as easy as possible. Wanted to minimize the number of special tools that you require. It needs to be serviced at the Chevy stores that are certified for Corvette. So we want to make sure that wasn't especially challenging. So the answer is yes. If you look at a bunch of exotics, the service costs are very high. We try to keep it in line with other Chevy products and traditional Corvette costs. I'll go back here.
When can we expect these at dealerships?
When can we expect them at dealerships? So as I mentioned, we're going to keep building the current car for a couple more months. Then we have a dark period in Bowling Green. We do our install and setup, getting ready for this. So right at the end of the year, we expect to start to make customer cars. So really, honestly, to get any volume of cars at dealerships, so anybody who's got one of the early orders, likely to be early next year.
So first quarter or end of first quarter?
Well, we should have cars out before the end of the first quarter.
Cool.
I would hope so. That's our plan anyway.
Thank you.
Yes, right here.
I noticed on the 8 building, seems to be bolted.
You're looking at the rolling chassis here? Actually, if you look at the structure, look all around it, we call it glued and screwed. So there's redundant mechanical attachments. So structural adhesive, and then also held together with blow drilled screws, which actually create their own threads and drive pieces of metal together. So you actually have redundancy in those joints to make them really, really strong.
Wow.
Once you glue it, it's glued. It's not going
Yeah, it would hold together with just the glue, but we use the screws in process to help hold it together while the glue itself is setting. It's actually kind of an aerospace technology.
Sweet.
More over here. Okay, last question. You gonna have a question?
How much robotics is involved? You're talking robotics on the assembly?
So in terms of robotics in the assembly plant, if you look at the body shop, the structure we were just talking about, there is a lot of robotics. The rest of the plant is a lot of manual assembly. If you take a plant tour in Bowling Green, it'll look familiar to you in terms of the number of people online putting the car together. So in places where you need robotics, we use robots and automated equipment. Other places are craftsmanship and the way we put the car together. We use our workforce there in Bowling Green. And like I said, we're actually adding people in, training them up, because building a Corvette is not like building any other car.
So will the customer still be able to go and assist?
Go and assist.
Assist them on the building of the car?
They'll be able to watch, not assist. Although you can build your own engine. We are planning on maintaining that through the life cycle of this.
Very good.
Okay, I think that was it. Are we last one? Okay. All right. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the show. We'll be around all day today.